for me, going through that media scandal is what made me realize this big time too. And it's also made me realize, like, shit, it's like I've rearranged a lot of the external. Like, I got the girls, I can be fucking confident when I go out, I got enough references, et cetera, but it's still the same me experiencing that. It's like deep down inside, if I actually sit down and be with myself, something we never fucking do, it's still that same fucking feeling. There's still that little voice, yeah, you piece of shit. You might have fooled everyone. You might have mastered the art of rearranging the external, but deep down inside, you're still shit. And it used to actually fucking freak me out, because the more, the more you kind of venture down this journey of, you know, personal development, success, et cetera, the more you kind of get rid of these excuses. That's really the journey. Like, this is the way it works. It's like most people are at the bottom. They feel like shit, and they kind of accept it, and they have all their reasons why they feel like shit. It's like, I'm down here, but it's because I don't got the money, I don't got the girls, I don't, et cetera. If I had the money, if I had the girls, I'd feel fucking awesome. Right? So you have your excuses, and most people just kind of go through life just taking that for granted. Like, oh, well, I mean, I don't have it. There's nothing I can do. Let's just accept it and live in this shitty, you know, state of being the rest of our lives. That's most people. Then you find out about personal development. You're like, oh man, fuck personal development. Let's work on ourselves. Let's get the money. Let's get the girls. And that's where I was first. Like, I got the girls, and I was still down there. So I'm like, it wasn't the girls. Maybe it's the money. Get the money. It's not the money. Maybe it's the approval, the fame. It's not that. And the more you kind of venture up, you're like, holy shit, like, is this ever gonna change? Like, is my default, is this baseline, is, you know, that experience of me ever going to change? And if you're really honest with yourself, you're like, fuck, it's not. And it freaks me the fuck out. I'm like, what's missing? That was me before the scandal, and that's actually what kind of got me to even push the marketing further out. Because where I was, you know, 2 years ago, for some dude in his fucking 20s, from my perspective, I had everything. Like, it was insane. Like, I got the girls, and if you really think about it in terms of like some dude in his 20s, like, I literally thought I was like the second coming of Christ. I kid you not. It sounds like I'm obnoxious. Like, there were many times where I'd like go to bed and I'm like, fuck, am I Jesus? Like, like so into myself, like in terms of that, it's like this can't be real. It's like, you know, it's like I'm going out, and I, again, started extremely shy in fucking Switzerland, and I start getting success with women. And my mom, like, shit. And it literally reaches a point, like, you don't have to change this baseline to start getting external success, by the way. It'll prevent you from a lot, but if you will power through, you'll get a lot. So I started getting all the girls. So you start getting all the validation and the approval from the girls. And you're like, man, if I only got, in the beginning, if I only got one girl, I'd finally, if she loved me, I could finally, you know, forgive myself and love myself, and I'll be up here. And you got the girl, and you get the little high at first, and ah, shit. And then you're there again. You know, wherever you go, there you are. No matter what the circumstances are. So I'm like, shit, maybe I need more girls. No, maybe I need a hotter girl at first. I was like, maybe hotter. And then you get 10 out of 10. I'm like, shit, maybe I need more. Maybe fucking hundreds of these 10 out of 10s. And you start getting all the girls. And I did. So I was like, shit. Like, I could literally go out and be like, oh, that one. And just bang. Okay? Not just that. I would then go in front of huge crowds like this and talk about getting those girls. And people would cheer me the fuck on. So I got the validation from the women, the validation from everyone listening to me, being like, I'm like, and then I slept with her. Everyone's like, you know, like how you get such a little high by just telling your friends about this. Imagine telling the world, and everyone's like, yeah, like that's insane. So approval from the women, approval from all these guys around the world. People paid me to teach them how to do it and to hear all these stories. So you're like, oh shit, now I got the money. Traveling around the world, I had like 4 world tours. Like, I've been everywhere I wanted to go, except Alaska, Iceland, and Portugal. Those are the 3 I really want to go to, which I will next year probably. But literally, like, I did all that. I had all the approval. I was doing something that's creative, etc. It's like I couldn't think of anything that was missing. I'm like, okay, I'm still down here. What the fuck's missing? Like, I mean, I have it all. Like, well, maybe more intense comments, maybe more intense reactions. And then, of course, I pushed my marketing too fucking far, and shit exploded. But it freaked me out. It's like that's when you really have like that life crisis. Like, I have it all. I have no more excuses not to feel fucking up there. What the fuck's wrong with me? The thing is, it's still that same you who's experiencing all that. Okay, that sentence, like wherever you go, there you are. Like you go on holiday, you're like, oh fuck, I'm in a new place. You might get the temporary high, but then you're still there. If right now you got all this success, etc., it's still the same you who's in that situation with a lot of success. So that freaked me out, and when it got all taken away, that's when it forced me to kind of get to the cause. It's like instead of trying to compensate for it, it's like, whoa, what am I fucking running away from? And the way you kind of get up there, it's like, well, it's dropping basically, I call it like optimized paradigm one, which is what I was doing here. So it's optimizing this paradigm where I'm basically running away from this. And as long as you're running away from something, you're keeping it alive. You know, if you're trying to be confident, what are you keeping alive? By you working on being confident, you're keeping the fact that you're not confident to begin with alive. By you trying to be happy, you're reinforcing you're not happy to begin with. By you developing willpower or trying to motivate yourself, you're reinforcing you're someone who's not motivated to begin with. Now, for optimizing like that paradigm of scarcity, let's just say, is way better than just taking it for granted. And it's, most people aren't even aware. They're just like, fuck it, this is my life. So at least you're trying something. But after a while, you realize, man, I'm not going to get here this way. You don't get there by optimizing scarcity. You get there by dropping scarcity. You get there, instead of being like, how can I run away or compensate for this, to why am I not here to begin with? What's in the fucking way? And then dropping that. When basically all of that shit was just taken away, because that's how drastic it was. Like, I went from being Jesus to being fucking Satan. It was like, I'm Jesus, water, and then like shit hit the fan, and it was intense. Like you go from having everything, and also the more you kind of go up and you act within this paradigm of assuming scarcity, the more you're also reinforcing it and investing in it. So you don't want to drop it. Like, I really depended on all that external stuff. So when you care so much, you put in so much effort getting all of it, when one day to the next it's just gone, you feel like you're dying. And in reality, you are. You're killing your ego. Like, that's your fucking ego, like, depending on all this, like, it's dying. And that's what happened. It's like I went from like having all the approval, it's like half the world, more than half the world hating me. It's like disapproval, and you're like, whoa. And if the approval hit you really good, well, positive, you got that high, you got a really negative low when it switched. So lost all that, reputation gone, different friendships gone, money gone, everything just woof, gone. And it got so intolerable, and this also was like my biggest like epiphany just in life. Got so intolerable, like I lost everything, that the only way for me to kind of make it through it, let's just say, like at the bottom, like the lowest point, was to drop even my thoughts and emotions, to just let go of everything. And that feels like you're committing, ego suicide. Let's say it feels like you're killing yourself. You're like, blah! And then what you realize is you think you're gonna fall to that shit you've been running away from for so long, but in reality, you realize like, oh shit, I didn't die. Then, of course, all the subconscious thoughts and everything pops back in, and you're there. But I had that little glimpse, and that got me questioning everything, because we just never take enough perspective. We're all trying to reach abundance, if you will, but we're trying to reach it in this paradigm where we're assuming scarcity, and that's why you just never get there. Because no matter what you do, you're reinforcing your default scarcity. Okay, and if you think of abundance, again, going from say that 3 out of 10 baseline to 10 out of 10, the only way it'll be 10 out of 10 is if there's zero worry, otherwise it's not abundance. So if it depends on anything you do or anything you have, there's worry because now you could lose it. And it's also reinforcing you're not good enough without doing that thing, so you'll never be 10 out of 10. The only thing you realize is abundance comes before it. Abundance can only be your default, and if you learn how to remove everything, and that's the journey, you get there. Okay? Extremely nuanced and subtle points, but that was like my biggest realization and pretty much what inspired everything I'm doing and teaching to this day.